Okay, good morning, students. Today is October 4th, and we're going to start this this new semester. Today, this is final elements class, and of course, I guess I guess everybody knows me, but just in case, my name is Jose Marina. I'm going to be the instructor in this final element class, and probably you recognize that right now I'm on campus. And yes, we as a university, we want to start following our safety measures, but we have to start coming back to our campus. Okay, so we will talk about that in a minute. Today, we have three things to do. First, I would like you to know the syllabus of this class. I posted last night the syllabus. So by now, I hope at least you have taken a quick look at that. There are certain changes which I would like to emphasize. Then I would like you to introduce yourself. Of course, we don't have the time to listen to each one of you, so we're going to go in steps, in groups. Probably today we will listen, I don't know, maybe 12, 15 people. And then at the end of the session, I would like to talk about a little bit about discretization. And specifically, what does that mean in the case of this class, final elements class, okay? So let me, there. Can you see my projection, full screen projection? Genesis, can you see my full screen projection?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, thank you. So this is the, I'm sorry, this is the what's the word? It's the number of this class. No, it's not a number. It's the code. It's the code of this class. This is my email address, JRMARIN. Just in case you need something, okay, send me an email. I usually check the email quite often during the day. This is a 3 credit hour class. We have 1 hour practice, okay, so we have 4 hours per week. And I usually, in general, I'm responsible the 4 hours, okay. Usually, during certain sessions, we have Engineer Isaac, or in this case, Genesis, help me out presenting some specific points. But in general, I'm going to be responsible for these 4 hours, okay? This is a fundamental, so everybody has to approve this class. I think it's a good idea if when you graduate and you take the list of your courses that you have approved in the university, it's a very good idea if it appears specifically final elements, okay? There are certain programs here in your university. They teach a little bit of final elements here, a little bit of final elements there, but they don't have this class. I think it's a good idea for us to have it, okay? And of course, it doesn't say here, but this class, according to our program, has to be taught in English, okay? We had a meeting, I think it was 3 weeks ago, faculty meeting, and the chairman, Alejandro, insisted that according to the results, okay, the results of a survey between our graduates, they tell us that they need English, lots of English. So we need to emphasize that. That's why this class is completely taught in English. So anything related to this class has to be expressed in English, okay? Of course, we have 30-something people in this class, so it's going to be difficult for everybody to say or to participate in every class. But I would like to bring you out. I mean, to ask you something, so everybody will have to participate. We will talk about that later because there are a couple of presentations that you have to make during the semester. We use a combination of platforms. We use Zoom for classes. We have 2 classes, Monday, Thursday. These are the numbers if you don't remember them. Our sessions and the class log, it's going to be stored as in ship structure in the Teams. Please come into Teams, check that you can indeed see the material in there. For example, last week, we had a review session on Python programming, and we recorded that. Genesis did that, and she posted that in the Teams platform. So that coming to the Teams session group and confirm that you can indeed see what is in there. If not, talk to Genesis, okay? And finally, we use the seed web. I think it's now it's called Aula Virtual, right? The Aula Virtual in order to post homeworks and the evaluations will be there too. So that's there. This is what we read in the course catalog. I'm sorry, again. Okay. Mr. Cano is here, Mr. Cano? Mr. Cano? Can you hear me? Mr. Cano, hello?
Yes, doctor.
Would you please read the description of the course?
Okay. In this professional and intermediate level training course in the Naval Engineering program, this is presenting an introduction to the discretization process used in the finite element method, FNM, to analyze sampling structures.
Mr. Cano, there is a point here. Can you see this? This is a point. So when you see a point, that means that you end up a sentence there. So you have to, when you read, you have to help the audience to understand what you're saying. That's a point. So you have to obey that. Okay, so this is a professional. This is not math. This is not basic science. Intermediate level, that means that you are close, but not there in the graduation process. And this term, discretization, we're going to use it quite often during this class. This is, instead of saying finite element method, we simply said FEM, finite element method. Okay, and we're going to analyze simple structures. Okay, go on, Mr. Cano.
Variant problems are analyzed in the plan. Students having to implement the FAM on their personal computer.
That means that we need to do some programming. And the reason for this is that in the last, I don't remember the term that they employed, but we reduced the length of our study program from 4.5 years to 4. So what we did was, okay, we're going to include the programming that we did in this applied programming class. That part, we are going to include it in some classes. And the first one that came to our mind was this one. So that's why we have to insist in implementing simple codes in your computers. So for this is that we need Python programming. Go on.
The plane stress problems are analyzed by applying triangular elements.
Okay, this is plane stress. That means that we have considered a plate and we apply forces in the same plane, in the XY plane. It's not bending. Remember, plate bending is what we studied in ship structures. In this case, the forces, the loads are going to be in the same plane, in the XY plane of the plate. So we're going to introduce that, and then we're going to apply an energy method to implement a finite element. You will see that. And we're going to use triangular elements. Okay, go on.
Finally, it is described the process to use a commercial program to apply the FEM in solving structural problems of the static type.
Okay, so at the end, we're going to use ANSYS in this case. I didn't want to include the word in this since this is a general description, but this is a commercial program. And yeah, we're going to explain. So you do not have to know how to use ANSYS. Okay, we're going to develop some sessions in order to explain how to first prepare the geometric plan, and then how to convert that into an structural model. And after we do that, we can apply ANSYS in order to solve for the static, a linear static case. Okay, so that's the case that we're going to use. We're not going to work with vibrations or anything like that. It's just static. Okay, so that's the description of this class. You have to have ship structures. And of course, that's why I ask you to start reviewing some basic programming that you learned in Programming Fundamentals course. Okay, that was a long time ago. The textbook, this textbook, Logan, I have another version, an older version, but this is a very nice book, really, Logan. And then we have these other references. Van Rossum, I think this is the person who developed this language, Python tutorial, so Python programming. So this is this. At some points, we need to use some Fortran program, but that's not much. So this is something that, I don't know, just a reference. And then these last two here is just manuals how to use ANSYS, okay? So this is just references. This is something that I insist at the beginning of every semester, is that this is just references. My suggestion is you try to come to class, or if you cannot for some reason, try to ask one of your classmates for the material, and try to study from the material of the class, not from these references, because every publication has difference in symbology, okay? In some cases, they have differences in terminology also, how they call things, parameters. So you can get confused. Okay, so my suggestion is that this is just references, okay? But try to study from the class notes, from your class notes. These are the objectives. We have 4 objectives. Mr. Valles, please. Mr. Valles, are you here? Or are you in Ambato? Are you in Ambato, Mr. Valles?
Yes, doctor, in Ambato City.
Okay, good. Good for you. Okay, go on. Please read the first objective.
Course objectives. Throughout the study of finite elements.
Finite, please. Finite
elements. Students will be able to 1. To analyze the discretization of a structure employed.
No. Discretization. Say it again, please.
Discretization of.
No. Discretization. It's a long word. That's why I insist. Go on, please.
Discretizations.
Good. Go on.
Of a structure employing line elements of bar and beam type, applying the direct methods of their stiffness matrix.
Okay, so in this case, we're going to use this direct method, and you will see what we mean by that. It's this is the way this finite element process was developed. And we look for equilibrium for every joint. Don't worry, I will explain what the joint is. And for this part, we're going to use line elements. Okay, so basically these elements allow us to work in the 1D domain. So we are going to be worried only about X influence. We are going to differentiate bars and beams. Bars means that you apply loads in the direction of the element. Beam means that you apply loads in the lateral direction. Okay, so this is just the loads produce elongation of this element. In the case of the beam, the loads produce bending. Mr. Nevares, number 2.
To implement the finite element method to analyze structures composed by bars and beams in a plane applying programming code. Okay,
please, it's finite. It's finite element method. Please say it again. Finite.
Finite element method.
Echo. That's okay. So you see, this, we learn how to use it by hand. In the second objective, we have to use it in the programming code. Okay? See, so this is not the same as this one. We're going to use bars and beams, but for the second objective, we need to use the computer. And you have to sit and do your own computer codes. The third, Ms. Pincay.
To analyze plane stress problems applying constant strain triangular finite elements.
Okay, so in this case, objectives 1 and 2, they deal with bars and beams. These are 1D problems. In the case of the objective 3, we work with plane stress problems. These are 2D problems. So in this case, we have to worry about dependence of X in X and Y directions, okay? And finally, Mr. Ortega, Alvaro Ortega, please.
Yes, to apply commercial computer packages using finite element method to solve linear structural problems.
Okay, so this is just how to use ANSYS, okay? So this is an objective, okay? So at the end, you have to show me that you are able to use ANSYS in order to solve a linear structural problem. Maybe we should insist here that it is a linear static structural problems, because all the loads that we're going to be applying are going to be static. There is no time dependence here or any nonlinearity. Okay, so this is the basic static problems that we're going to solve. And we can use finite elements in order to analyze fluids problems or problems related to heat transfer. But in this class, we insist only in structural problems, okay? So yeah, if you want to use to solve fluid problems, we can do that, but not in this class. I want to concentrate in structures, okay? These are the chapters that we're going to be included in this semester. We're going to start today with bar elements. We're going to do something similar for the beam elements. Then we're going to solve plane stress problems. And in this case, we're going to use a program, a small computer program that we found it in the appendix of this Logan's book. Okay, it's not mine. So what I did was I asked somebody, my wife, to type it. And it took it a long time. We have to correct several errors. It's typical, but at the end, we make it work. So it's quite useful. And the advantage of that is, since it is specifically for this type of problems, we can concentrate in trying to see what it means, what it does. And finally, chapter 4 and 5, it's the last part of this class, is concentrated on the last objective. Okay, so we think that when we prepare you to analyze an structure, you have to think that in general, the structures that you're going to analyze are not so simple in geometry. Okay, think about the structure of a ship. It's not such a simple structure to analyze. So in those cases, what we have to do is we have to go in steps. Okay, and in the first step, we think about discretization. And to do that, we usually use another program, which is more easy to use in order to produce a geometric plan. Usually in the space, it's a 3D geometric plan. Since you all have used, what's the name of the program that you use in forms and hydrostatics, people? What's the name of the program? Somebody help me. What's the name of the program that you use in the class with Miss Munoz? What's the name of the?
Surf Doctor.
No, not Maxsurf. The other one, that to produce the plans, not AutoCAD. What's the other one?
Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros. Yes. So that's the one that we're going to use in order to produce the geometry in the space. It's a 3D plan, and that we imported from ANSYS. So we go in the 2 steps. Okay, and this process is described by usually by engineer Isaac. Okay, so in the last chapter, what we do is we assign a project, and what we do is in every session, we ask the group to show us what are the advances of completing this assignment. So we go on explaining how to implement mechanical properties, for example, boundary conditions that supports loads, and then asking the results, different type of results, stresses, deflections. Remember that stresses, it's a general term. In stresses, we mean normal and shear. And we say stresses, we can say that the stresses are in the X, Y, and Z direction. So there's a lot of information that we can get. Also, for example, in the supports points, we can calculate reactions. So there's a lot of information that we can obtain. So this is the whole thing. This is the number of hours that we're going to use. Usually, this is the number, not usually. Remember that this is a 3-hour lectures class. So this is probably 2 and something. This is, no, this is 2 weeks. This is 3 weeks. And then this plane stress problem, we split it. So we studied the first part, in the first part of the semester, and then in the second part we go on with the application of this program, and this is the last part of the class. Of course, this is we spend usually about 4 weeks for this part, solid 4 weeks. So it's a lot of importance for this last part. But that's not the only thing that we need. We need all of this in order to understand what the computer does. In this class, we have to contribute to your training. And in this class, of course, since it is taught in English, I think we contribute to this outcome. The outcome 3B. It's an ability to communicate effectively with the range of audiences in English. With this range of audiences, we mean that we should have in mind that it's not only that you have to talk to another engineer. it is likely that you have to talk to a lawyer or a businessman. And of course, everybody uses different terminology. So you have to have this training in order to communicate. Okay, so for example, you have to propose something, a project to a lawyer. They talk a different language than us. So that's the idea. And you have to do it in English. So in order to try to train you to reach this outcome, of course, I want you to participate in class. So every time you are asked something, yeah, you have to answer and try to, do you feel comfortable? Yes. No, try to put a couple of more words in your participation. So try to use full sentences. Now, okay, that means that you have to use subject, verb, and predicate. Okay. And also, I'm going to ask you to do some presentations. So all of this is the activity that allows you to improve in this outcome, hopefully. Any questions so far, people? Any questions so far? No, everything is clear? Good. This is something that it's delicate, so we have to be quite clear. Okay, first, quizzes. Okay, since we are in this special situation, very special situation, we don't have exams. Okay, so more or less every 4 weeks, we have an evaluation. Okay, so in this case, we have decided with the faculty that the evaluations has to be in person. So please get ready for that. On this date, can you read this date? Mr. Guthenberg, this date?
Yes, Wednesday, October 27th.
Okay, so this Wednesday, it's Wednesday. Okay, on Wednesdays in this faculty, nobody has classes. So don't tell me that you have another class. On this date, October 27th, in the morning, I will, when the time gets closer, I will tell you the hour, but this is in the morning. I should have included here the time. Okay, but we're going to have the first quiz. And this quiz is going to be worth 35 points. Okay? Then we are going to have projects for this part of the semester. Okay, and in this case, on Thursday, November 25th, okay, this is the date when we have the exams. This is the week of the exams. So on Thursday, November 25th, we're going to have presentations. Okay, it's going to be in person. So we're going to meet here, probably in the auditorium. Since in the auditorium has a capacity for 50 persons, we're going to be plenty of space for everybody, okay? And that's going to be worth 30%. The assignments, which are obligatory, it's worth 35%. So that's give you a total of 100%, 100 points. Questions about these people, please? Question. Miss Guthenberg, do you have any questions about this? Do you like it, this way of evaluation for the first part? Miss Guthenberg, are you here? Yes. Where are you, Miss Guthenberg? Are you where?
I'm staying in Imbabura province.
Oh.
Yes, I live in this city now.
Okay, so please get ready for these 2 dates at least, okay? I don't remember who you are, so I would like to see you. Okay, that's one of the reasons. Don't you want to come to the university?
Sorry?
No.
No. The trip is 12 hours. It's so long.
I'm sorry, come again, please.
If I go to the university in Guayaquil City, the trip, el viaje.
The trip.
12 hours. 12 hours. It's a
Okay.
lot.
It's a long trip, I know, but this is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
And besides that, I don't know, but I see the names on my list here, and I don't recognize all of them. For example, do you know Mr. Mateo? I'm asking you, Carolina Guthenberg. Do you know Mr. Mateo?
No.
No, me either. So it's going to be a good opportunity to meet him, or all the other students that appear here in this list. Okay? Okay, for the second evaluation, see, I still have to talk to the other faculty. There's going to be another quiz. Probably that's going to be at the beginning of next year, right? But I have some doubts about the calendar. That's why I didn't include it in here. Okay, so it's going to be a second quiz. Then at the end of the semester, we're going to have a final project presentation. And these two, again, they're going to be in person. And of course, there's going to be some homework. So everybody will have to complete these assignments, and that will be worth 30%. At the end, that's another 100%. Okay, so the dates for these two activities, I will let you know. At least the last one, that's going to be during the exam week, okay? For the third evaluation, you know my attitude. I don't think it's worth. Okay, if somebody works every week by week, that means that this person during 16 weeks make an effort, try to understand, read the class notes, don't understand, ask how can do it, sit on the computer, implement this code, an error, try to solve it. See, 16 weeks. And then somebody comes at the end of the semester and said, these people are just dumb. I can do the same thing in 1 week. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Okay? When we come out of the university, there are not second chances. And that's the way you should complete this study program or engineering program, thinking that when somebody asks you to do a project, there are no second chances, okay? Homework is obligatory. Miss Sayo, if somebody tell you that this is obligatory, what do you understand about this?
That I must do.
I must do it. Yes, you have to do it. Okay, please don't come crying to me. Okay, at the end of the semester, I got a 0. Yes, because I don't have your homework. And this is something that I learned in Michigan. Okay. I remember it was very close to the last week of exams. And I heard the instructor, Curtis Hoff, he told one of the students, not me, he told one of the students, hey, I'm missing your homework 6. And he said, yes, professor, I'm trying to complete it, but yes, remember, you have to do it before the final exam. So it's obligatory. You have to do it, okay? And I spent a lot of time trying to think about the type of problems that I need to give you in order to help you practicing and trying to understand the material. Okay, so you have to do it. That's my regulation. Please, in the seed web, okay, I set up the maximum date when you can load your work. So if you will get late and you don't load your work after 5 days, then that means that you don't want to work here. If you don't want to work in this class, that's fine with me. Go somewhere else. This is the rules. These are the rules. If you don't want to follow them, fine, but go to somewhere else. We don't want you here. Here, we want people who wants to work. The third evaluation is something that I mentioned. Yes, I have to give it to you. Makes no sense to me, but I have to give it to you because it's a university rule. But believe me, this is extremely difficult because, as I said before, somebody works 16 weeks, right? Every week, reads the material, make an effort in order to prepare the programs and all of that. And somebody comes after 16 weeks and say, you're dumb. I can do this in 1 week. It makes no sense. Makes no sense to me. Okay? So please, don't come to me. Are we going to have the mejoramiento exam? Shoot. Yes, I have to give it to you. But believe me, it's very difficult. Okay? Because when you come out of this university, you have to have in your mind that there are no second chances. If somebody asks you to do an stability analysis, you have to put your best in order to do it well the first time. If somebody wants to analyze an structure and you conclude that it is safe, you have to be certain that it is indeed safe structure. You have to do your best the first time, not to wait until receiving a second option. There are no second options. That's the reason why I do this, okay? What else? These are real situations in our media. Probably you remember this case, and this is also a barge in the Guayas River. They capsized. I'm not saying that it's because the naval engineer who designed these ships made an error, but the problem is that it is possible. See? And in every one of these situations, there was people who died. Okay, that's the reason. That is the reason I do this. Don't think that there are second chances. Okay, in the real world, usually there are no second opportunities. You have to do it correctly the first time, and that's it. This is SPON. This is the best university in Ecuador. And finally, please, I need to see you. So please try to have your cameras on. There are some cases where you have problems with the connection. Yeah, in that case, yes. But please try to cameras on. Everybody turn on your cameras because I would like to know you. In some cases, yes, microphones has to be off because of the noise. But if there is no problem, then have them on, because as you can notice, if I ask something to somebody, in some cases they forgot that their microphones are off. So they start talking, and after some minutes, they realize that their microphones were off, so nobody listened to you, what you said. So if you can, leave them on. Usually, for example, when you ask something, okay, try to start saying your name because it's difficult for me, okay? This is something which are the regulations right now. We do not control class attendance. My suggestion is try to be here, because yes, you can listen to the videos, but from time to time, it's a good idea if you try to interact on time, not after time. So, but that's your problem. Please, evaluations will be in persons. So everybody needs to go into this website and get a PDF certificates from the Ministry of Public Health. Okay, Mr. Mateo, did you get 2 shots for the COVID, Mr. Mateo?
Yes.
Mr. Mateo, are you there?
Yes. Yes.
Did you get the 2
yes.
shots? Did you get the 2 shots? Mr. Mateo,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Don't answer yes. Say yes, I got the 2 shots. And I don't know, I got it in Guayaquil or whatever. Please try to practice your English. Go on, Mr. Mateo.
Elvin Machado.
Okay, so go on. I got 2 shots. Go on, please. Mr. Mateo, please. We need you to practice your English for a branch of audiences. Mr. Galarza, did you get the 2 shots?
Good morning, doctor. Yes, I get the 2 shots and I got Pfizer.
Okay, good for you.
Thank
Do you know that in this place, in this site, you can get a certificate?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I don't know, but the MSP don't give me the certificate. I have
Yeah,
to
but
go to the...
no. What you have to go is you have to type this in this address. See all of this address.
Okay, yeah.
And
Okay,
then
thank you.
you have to type the number of your identification, the cedula, and then they will provide you the certificate. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think they send you to by mail.
yes. So please, everybody has to get this certificate and they have to send it to the assistant. Okay, and so and we have to do that because we want you to be here. And that's the first rule is that everybody got 2 shots. I got mine. I got my certificate. So everybody has to get the certificate. So you have to go into this website, tab your ID, and then you get the certificate. And then send that to Genesis Loyola. I will post her address in a few minutes. So please, I want you to print this page. Do not don't print the color in the back. You can do it without the green because that takes a lot of ink. Here, put the date, and here, sign it. That means that I explain you the course regulations in this session. Okay, everybody has to do it. Finally, here, I'm going to have office hours Mondays from 8 to 9 p.m. And I have to talk to Isaac about office hours and also about Genesis Loyola. I will post all of this information to you. Of course, they both will be available in the Zoom platform. So we will give you their links and passwords if needed. Okay. That's it. Is there any question, people? Is there any question? Any questions about this?
No, doctor.
No? Okay, let's take a break. Let's take a break, 5-minute break.